Hey everyone, I hope you're having a blessed day. Today I'm gonna be going over the DXY, the dollar index, and about its bullish rally that it's been on, right? It's been picking up a lot of bullish momentum ever since I'd say February. February was big, January to February, the beginning of the year. Let's put it like this: all of quarter 3 has just been a nice pickup rally ever since we had the new presidential election. The stimulus, all of that, right? Starting to play a turn on the dollar. So I'm gonna, I always like to do two charts. I like to give a blank chart. I like to give a full descriptive chart of exactly what I'm looking at. And the first thing I'm gonna point out today is this wave sequence. Like I love the wave sequences because if you can read what the market is telling you, then you can read the book, right? You can figure out what's next. It's always telling you a story. So specifically, this last bearish impulse was the last strongest move that we've had going into the end of 2020 to 2021. Right at 2021, right? That first week in 2021 is really when the bulls started to pick up.
It's 18:15.
Right? Thank you. Pick up the rally and then give you this retrace back into this third leg. Okay, so this wave sequence from the second to third was the correction to see, and not the correction. It really didn't get corrected. It's really just the impulse, a bearish impulse to see if this was going to continue to the downside. And just pay attention. I'm actually gonna go over to this blank chart to explain this part. Right here with this specific candle, this is the bearish continuation candle because we are still in the downtrend. So from this point on, I should be able to expect some bearish movements. But if you could see that price barely even made it beneath that low, right? Price was not trying to close beneath that. It opened and closed bullish. Now, these candles printed, they're printing weird or whatever. But at the end of the day, this is a higher low followed by some previous lows equal to relative lows continuing to the top side. So what I like about recent price action, especially after we close back above here, is this nice like continuous bullish move. Even like last week was a really just consolidation accumulation, right? I believe in the accumulation word rather than consolidation because price is always accumulating, setting up for the next move. But if you were to go down right to the 4-hour time frame, this is just beautiful price action. Nice, beautiful accumulation price action. If you know about the market makers theory, right? You have your accumulation. I'm just going to draw these boxes just to really show you what I'm talking about. You have your accumulation, right? Then you have your manipulation, and all the manipulation is the false move. So just imagine a false move, right? False move, okay? And then you have your distribution. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. And I'm loving the way that the market is distributing out of these out of the accumulation. About to draw a fib from this high to low, low to high, excuse me. Price was just accumulating specifically, right? If I want to be specific and I'm not just drawing random boxes, specifically in this 236 to 382 fib zone. Price was accumulating perfectly. And then right here is this last touch, price just took off, right? Price is taking off. And now I can expect some extensions up into, the next targets. So for me personally, my next extension zone for me, if I was this fib that I have marked up is actually from, where is this fib from? I don't even know. I'm lying. Okay. So it was the first bullish rally. So I took a fib from this low to this high, pretty much just measuring the first bullish move that we had of the year, and I put a fib on. And that's what we gave you this wave sequence, right? The 1 to 2 wave sequence is the identified move that we're trying to replicate. And then we try to get in with the 3 to 4th wave sequence. Now, the 3 to 4th wave sequence isn't always guaranteed, especially if you have a bigger pullback. First of all, this is huge bearish momentum. Huge bearish momentum. So it's going to take a lot for it to accumulate and turn over. And that's exactly why the bears were so strong as they did, breaking and terminating the third wave sequence. But the first structure of the wave sequence held, and where price was previously resistance, right? I'm going to actually replicate this as well so you can see all the times where price was previously resistance is now turning into support. So what I mean by that is right here where price was resisting off, price then turned to support. Price turned to support, right? Where price was resisting off, resisting off, resisting off, resisting off. Price turned into support. This one right here is extremely important because that's the last support that we had before price began to make its move. But anyways, nonetheless, as I was saying, I had a fib from this low to this high, gave you a nice sweet spot in this nice 618 to 786% zone. Nice closures above 38.2, equivalating with the 50 moving average. And my first targets are always the extension zones. And the 113, the 272, and the 618 are the extension zones I love to reach. So this 618 is the last extension zone that I have left, and that's right up there at 93. If we can get a $93, it's going to say a lot. It's going to say a lot for the rest of your pairs, a lot of the cryptos. It's going to say a lot for the markets and what's really beginning to happen for the year, because we're still in March, so we're still in Q1, and we're almost into Q2. So this is extremely important, extremely important for the dollar, especially if I were to go onto the higher time frames, even from a weekly perspective, family. Look at this just from a weekly perspective. The dollar has not been back up here since November. But before I even want to go into that, I always like to point out market structure. Market structure mixed in with price action is extremely important. So this candle right here, all right, this candle right here was the candle that broke structure and gave you the continuation to the downside. This candle closed almost, it didn't really close beneath that low, but it kind of did. This candle, right, is closing. Well, it depends on how we go in these 2 days, but if this candle closes above the open of the previous breaker, that's going to say a lot for the momentum. On the weekly, right? We're on the weekly time frame, family. Now, if I'm going to go to the monthly, look how strong these monthly candles are. Okay? Price is getting back in, bouncing off the support, right, over here. So it's being supplied back in. Now, I'm not gonna lie. This is bearish structure. If I were to point out my wave sequences that I love to point out all the time, right? Starting with the whatchamacallit, you have your 1 and 2, which is the identified move you're trying to, replicate, and then you have your 3 to 4. Your 3 to 4 is the one that you want to analyze and get into. So this is how you're able to, you know what you're doing, you go to lower time frames, you can, pretty much sell off from the 95 whole level. What I see, family, is a pullback. I'm in a monthly time frame, right? This is extremely important. If I see a pullback coming back in, I'm going to draw a fib from the 3rd to 4th wave sequence. See a pullback right into that 382. Look how perfect. I did not intentionally just do that. Look how perfectly this 5th wave is lining up with that 382. If we can get that, then I can fully expect a continuation back to, expect a continuation down to the downside. But that you know what I'm saying, that's all speculative. I like to be less speculative and more reactive to what price is telling me. So as of right now on the reaction side, I can definitely tell you right now from a daily and 4-hour perspective, we are bullish on the dollar. As long as we remain high above the 50 moving average, then we are bearish on the dollar. If I would even like to, let's see, throw on the 200 EMA, price is now right here between the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA on the daily time frame. But on the 4-hour, it's already broken, right? It's already giving you some support. So we have a nice bullish dollar. Nice bullish dollar. And if you know about the dollar, then you can equivalate that to the euro dollar. And as you can see, look at that. That's huge. This candle closure right here on the daily is huge for the euro dollar. So I can really begin to expect to see some bearish euro dollar. Now you have, you got a lot of strong support in here. You got this right here. This is all relative right here, family. This is not exact. I'm not even going to do that. I love to be specifically what I'm talking about. So I'm going to specifically draw you a Fibonacci from this low to this high. If I had to guess, around the 78, ooh, look at that, 71, 786 zone. So I can expect the dollar to euro dollar, to begin bearish, right? Begin bearish, making its way into the next zone that I have, which would be the 786. But, this is on the daily time frame, so we could chop around and do whatever it would like to do. At the end of the day, this is bearish market. Bearish market. If you know how to play this, you just wait for the pullbacks, right? You identify your wave sequences. You got your impulse, right? Got your correction, and you sell off, right? Retracement. This is actually, it gave you, this is a triple top. If you know how to identify a triple head and shoulders, right? Your head and your shoulders over here on the side. and then continuation down. So I'm not really just trying to draw too much on my screen and just trying to just tell you guys random stuff. It all comes back down to the dollar being extremely bullish right now. This is extremely important for all the other currencies and what the overall market is telling you, because the market's really based off what's happening with the dollar and a lot of everything as well. I'm going to go over one last thing. We're going to pull up the SPX 500. Now, to be as bland and easy and fast as possible, what I want you guys to see is right here on the daily time frame, we have some play around here on the 50 moving average. But if I were to draw a fib from this low to this high, I want you to see how price could not barely close above this high. It actually gave you two open and closed candles, and then before that, price is already beginning to turn over. So what I want you to see is how extended price was. I actually thought that price was going to come up to this extension level, this 113 extension level, and I was going to say you can expect some bearish momentum, but it didn't. At the end of the day, I'm just extremely bearish on a lot of these pairs. I want to rattle and say too much without being able to show you, but be expecting a continuation all the way up, in my opinion, till you get to 93. Once we get to 93, that will be my negative 618 extension, and I can begin to see price to really tell me what's next. Because right now I don't have anything else. This is my structure. If I wanted to draw something else as well, I could say that I'll do this one last thing, so I'm not just randomly drawing on the chart. This one last wave sequence is really pointing itself out to me, right? You identify from here. You got your 1 to 2, 3 to 4, and then this 5th wave right here is your correction. If price breaks above the 4th wave again, then I can really expect a higher extension, because price is correct. It's breaking the 2nd, it's broken the 4th, and now it's got to give me a nice 6th wave out. This is Elliot Wave, key pivotal, if you know about Elliot Wave, I'm not going to go into that, but this is extremely important. I'm excited. I don't know if you can tell, my words are getting stuttered. I'm really excited to see what the dollar has in store for us for the second quarter going into this third quarter of the year, especially if you like to, pay attention to Bitcoin as well. A lot of exciting things are happening, a lot of exciting and just pivotal things that you have to pay attention to and be ready with. So once again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to, watch this video. Hopefully I was able to provide you with a different perspective and my analysis on really what it is that I have coming out of Bitcoin. Be looking forward to having more video analysis coming from me. I'm really excited to share you guys what I have coming forward and the really truthful behind story that the market is revealing to us. So once again, thank you. Take care. Peace.